Okay, let's unpack this. Think about something you might just have in your cosmetic bag right now. That little colorful sponge, maybe egg-shaped.
Yeah, seems pretty simple.
Exactly, an everyday item. But what if I told you that this unassuming little tool, it's actually the core of a global industry,
Mm-hmm.
worth nearly $1 billion right now, and, get this, on track to more than double in the next decade.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you frame it like that.
It really is.
Yeah.
So today we're taking a deep dive into the surprisingly big world of makeup blenders.
Mm.
You know, beauty sponges, cosmetic blending tools, whatever you call them.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how something designed for a very specific job, getting foundation or concealer on smoothly and evenly, how it's become so essential.
Right.
Their popularity really exploded because they give you that flawless, almost airbrush look. Everyone wants that.
Everyone does.
So they're staples now, for pros, for people just using makeup every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So our goal for this deep dive is to really get under the skin of this surprising economic powerhouse. These, well, humble tools.
Mm.
We're using insights from a detailed analysis by Cognitive Market Research, specifically on the global makeup blender market.
And the scale, it's something else.
It really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? How fast these seemingly niche products can just, boom, take off.
Yeah, definitely. So let's put some numbers on it. The global market, back in 2021, it was valued at a pretty staggering $921.26 million.
$900 million for sponges.
Right. But that's like just the starting line.
Okay, here's where it gets wild. It's not just growing, it's accelerating. Projected to hit over $1.3 billion by 2025.
Okay, wow.
And then, wait for it, expected to more than double again to an incredible $2.65 billion by 2033.
$2.65 billion.
Yeah, that works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of over 9% for essentially a sponge.
So the big question is why? What's driving this kind of growth for something that seems, well, pretty straightforward?
Good question.
The research points to a few key things. First, there's just this increasing beauty consciousness globally. More people are just more invested in their look, their makeup routines.
That makes sense. And social media has to play a role.
Oh, huge. The influence of social media is just, well, it's everywhere. You can't overstate it. Think about it.
Okay.
A top makeup artist or, some influencer on TikTok or Instagram shows you exactly how to get that perfect blend using this specific sponge.
Right, you see it in action.
Exactly. It instantly makes a pro technique look achievable and it creates demand. Millions of people see it and think, okay, I need that.
It's not just aspirational, it's actionable. You see the tool, you buy the tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so social media is massive. What about the products themselves? Are they, getting better, innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not always, some radical new thing. Often it's refinement. There's continuous innovation happening, improved materials, different textures for different effects, better shapes, more ergonomic designs to fit your face better. They're just becoming more effective, easier to use.
Okay.
And this is crucial, rising disposable incomes. All around the world, more people just have more money to spend on things like this, these beauty tools, as part of their routine.
So it's culture, tech, and money all coming together.
Precisely. It's a perfect storm, really. Cultural desire, digital access, and the economic ability to buy in.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, let's break this down geographically.
Yeah.
Where is all this money actually flowing? Let's do a regional deep dive. North America first.
Yeah.
It's a big player.
Huge player. Looking at over $750 million by 2033, that's the projection.
Wow.
And within North America, no surprise, the U.S. is the giant. It accounts for most of the sales, showing really solid growth, poised to more than double its market value by 2033, hitting over $600 million.
Okay, U.S. leads. But what about Canada and Mexico?
Also, very strong growth there. Both Canada and Mexico are actually projected to more than triple their market value over that same period, 2021 to 2033.
Triple. Okay, so it's not just a U.S. thing, it's continent-wide.
Definitely. It shows just how widespread the demand for these tools really is.
All right, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. Also a pretty substantial market, right? Looking to more than double by 2033, hitting over, $630 million?
That's right. Europe's holding strong. Germany's leading the pack there, expected to grow to over $117 million by 2033.
Okay.
But you've also got France, the UK, Italy, all making significant contributions, and each of them is on track to nearly triple their market values as well.
Triple again. Seems to be a theme.
It does. And we're seeing really notable growth from places like Russia and Spain, too. It just suggests that this beauty focus, the trends we talked about, they're really embedded across very different European cultures.
Okay, established markets growing strongly.
Mm.
But the data seems to point somewhere else for the fastest growth, right?
Mhm.
Asia Pacific.
Oh, yeah. That's the real epicenter, as you say. It already leads the global market in value.
Already the biggest.
And it's set to reach nearly $1 billion all by itself by 2033. The growth there is just explosive.
Nearly a billion just in Asia Pacific. Why so dominant?
Well, it's not just population, though, that helps. There's a really deep cultural emphasis on skincare, elaborate beauty routines. Think about South Korea, Japan. Achieving that perfect base is, like, paramount.
Ah, okay. The glass skin idea.
Exactly. China, of course, is the regional powerhouse. Their market is on track for over $250 million.
Huge numbers.
But what's really interesting, I think, is India. The growth there is incredibly rapid,
How rapid?
projected to nearly quadruple its market value between 2021 and 2033.
Quadruple. Wow.
Yeah. It makes it one of the fastest growing markets on the planet for these blenders. It signals this massive emerging consumer base that's getting plugged into global beauty trends.
That's incredible.
Hmm.
So North America, Europe, solid, established. Asia Pacific, though, that's where the acceleration is really happening, especially led by China and this boom in India. What about South America?
South America also shows really strong potential. The market size there is projected to triple, hitting over $184 million by 2033.
Triple again?
Yep. Brazil, being the largest economy, naturally leads. They're projected to reach over $74 million. But Argentina and Colombia are showing significant growth, too. It indicates these modern beauty tools are being adopted much more widely across the continent.
Okay, makes sense. So rounding out the globe, Middle East and Africa, how do they fit into this picture?
Right, so these regions, their market size is smaller compared to the giants, obviously, but the proportional growth is really impressive.
How so?
Both regions are projected to more than triple their market value by 2033.
Okay, triple again. Consistent trend.
It really is. In the Middle East, you've got Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE as key players. Reflects growing beauty industries and, consumer spending power there.
Right, and Africa.
In Africa, Nigeria and South Africa are leading the way. It points to these burgeoning markets where beauty trends and access to products are really expanding, catching up.
What drives that growth there specifically?
Well, it often ties into things like increased internet access, more urbanization, exposing new groups of people to global beauty standards, and, crucially, the products to achieve them.
Got it. So let's bring this back. What does all this, this flood of numbers and regions mean for you listening right now? I mean, this deep dive, it really shows the incredible economic force that can come from what looks like a tiny product innovation.
Exactly.
It just highlights how much influence beauty trends have, how powerful social media is in shaping what we buy, and how rising incomes globally fuel demand in maybe unexpected ways.
Yeah, it's not just about a sponge. It's a multi-billion-dollar trend that's quietly, shifting global commerce.
When you connect it all, it really shows how these, well, seemingly unassuming products can become huge economic forces.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they tap into something fundamental like, the desire for beauty, self-expression, and then you add that digital influence on top.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you look beyond the usual corporate giants and see these fascinating movements happening just beneath the surface.
It really does. I mean, this journey through the makeup blender market, going from hundreds of millions to billions projected, it's been pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
It really underscores the scale a seemingly niche product can hit when the cultural and economic timing is right.
Absolutely.
But it does leave you with a thought, doesn't it? A sort of provocative question, maybe.
Hmm.
What other everyday items, other unassuming things, might be quietly experiencing this kind of exponential growth? Driven by cultural shifts we haven't noticed yet, or tech changes, or different consumer preferences we just overlook.
That's a great question to chew on. What does the story of the makeup blender, tell us about how we should be looking at the economy around us? Are we missing the next big thing that's hiding in plain sight? Maybe it's something in your own home right now, just waiting for its moment.
Keep looking. Keep observing the world with that curious eye. Seek out those hidden economic stories. You might just spot the next multi-billion-dollar phenomenon. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something you might use every day without really a second thought. But it's actually a multi-million-dollar market. shaped by incredible innovation, social media, even global trade complexities. We are, of course, talking about the humble makeup blender. Our mission in this deep dive is to cut through the noise, understand the key forces driving this market, and give you those essential nuggets of knowledge.
It really is fascinating how something as specific as a makeup blender reflects much broader shifts, in beauty standards, consumer behavior, the global economy. What we're going to explore is how a tool designed for, well, a flawless finish has truly become a battleground for innovation and even sustainability. It's quite the story.
Right, and we're doing this by drawing insights directly from some detailed market reports. Think of them as our map, basically, helping us illuminate the surprisingly complex journey of this little beauty tool. So let's start at the beginning. How did these sponges go from being like a niche item to a beauty staple for so many of us?
At its core, it really came down to a powerful consumer desire. People started chasing that professional-grade makeup finish, right? That coveted airbrushed look that maybe once felt exclusive.
Exclusive to makeup artists, right?
Exactly. And tools like the iconic Beauty Blender sponge. Well, they made those techniques accessible to everyone, helping them achieve that flawless result right at home.
And zooming out a bit, the dominant influence of beauty influencers, you just can't overstate it here. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
Yeah.
they're viral tutorials showing exactly how to get that perfect blend or comparing different products. It massively boosted the visibility of these tools. And that builds trust, encourages people to try them out, especially younger audiences, Gen Z and millennials. That makes perfect sense. And it's not just organic virality either, is it? Brands are incredibly smart about this. We've seen them launch limited edition collaborations, maybe with a brand like Real Techniques or Sephora.
Creates hype.
Exactly. Creates massive hype and drives those impulse purchases, all channeled through digital platforms.
And that kind of feeds into a much wider geographical expansion. We're seeing huge growth driven by, well, rising disposable incomes and increasing urbanization, especially in emerging economies like India, Brazil, Indonesia.
Right.
As consumers there gain more spending power, they're really gravitating towards branded cosmetic tools because, well, they perform well and they look great. International brands are absolutely capitalizing on this, expanding their online presence, launching region-specific campaigns, trying to reach these aspirational buyers.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The sheer innovation happening beyond just the basic sponge. Manufacturers are pouring investment into product design and material enhancements. We're talking about things like sponges that are latex-free, hypoallergenic, meaning less likely to cause reactions.
Sure, important for sensitive skin.
And even antimicrobial, which helps keep them cleaner, right?
Yes.
Plus, they're being designed for a wider variety of makeup applications, from your basic foundation all the way to, say, highlighter.
Yeah, this really brings up the point about how brands are innovating with both the shape, the form, and the practical use of these tools. We're seeing ergonomically shaped sponges, dual-ended ones, or contoured sponges designed to reach specific facial zones.
Like under the eyes.
Exactly, right under your eyes or along your cheekbones. Brands like Junoko and Etude House are even introducing non-traditional designs. They're functional but also visually appealing, tapping into that consumer demand for novelty and specialization.
And it goes even further, doesn't it, into some cutting-edge tech integration. Companies are incorporating sophisticated antimicrobial technologies. And they're seriously exploring silicone-based blenders.
Oh, yes, the silicone ones.
Because they're non-porous, super easy to clean, and tend to last much longer.
Right. Different feel, though.
True. And on top of that, there's a strong push for personalization and multifunctional design. Think custom-shaped blenders specifically for contouring or for those tricky nose bridges, or even under-eye use. We're also seeing dual textures or sponge silicone hybrids handle both wet and dry makeup seamlessly. That's pretty clever stuff.
It really is.
So once these amazing innovative products are created, how do they actually get into your hands? That's where e-commerce growth has been absolutely instrumental in, well, reshaping distribution.
Huge shift.
It has really democratized access, allowing you to find these products everywhere, from huge marketplaces like Amazon to specialized beauty sites like Nika and Ulta.
And what's fascinating here is how direct-to-consumer, or D2SLN, are letting newer brands completely bypass traditional retail.
Skipping the middleman.
Totally. Instead, they're pouring their energy into influencer-led digital marketing, things like subscription boxes and leveraging customer reviews to build engagement and loyalty. This digital-first approach, using Instagram Reels, TikTok challenges, YouTube tutorials, it's proving incredibly effective. And those limited edition collections co-created with influencers, they're really driving significant brand loyalty.
Right. And the tech doesn't stop at marketing, does it? We're seeing artificial intelligence and machine learning refining manufacturing processes themselves. Companies are now using predictive analytics to understand regional preferences, like what kind of sponge density might be popular where,
Interesting.
and even fine-tuning the material density or foam elasticity for better application results. This doesn't just improve the product, it also dramatically optimizes the supply chain, makes it more efficient.
Yeah, and looking at the broader market dynamics, it's clear how global trade shifts are having an impact, particularly thinking about the upcoming 2025 tariff landscape that's impacting supply chain stability.
How so?
Well, brands that source synthetic materials or packaging from Asia, especially, say, China and Vietnam, they're facing increased costs and regulatory hurdles. This has pushed companies to diversify their suppliers, maybe localize manufacturing closer to home,
Makes sense.
and explore more cost-effective, sustainable raw material alternatives, basically trying to reduce volatility and ensure a stable supply for consumers like you.
Okay, but of course, no market this dynamic is without its obstacles. Let's shift focus to some of the challenges. One major issue is simply market saturation and the prevalence of counterfeit products.
The fakes.
You've got generic, low-cost blenders flooding both physical and online marketplaces. They often mimic popular brands,
Look the part.
but critically lacking in quality, which not only makes it harder for legitimate producers to make a profit, but also erodes customer trust when those knockoffs just don't perform.
Definitely. And that brings us to another key question. What else slows down growth? Well, the high cost of some premium makeup blenders, especially those with proprietary materials or sustainable ingredients, like Beauty Blender, which commands premium prices, that can deter value-conscious buyers.
Sure. Not everyone wants to spend that much on a sponge.
Exactly. And another significant hurdle is hygiene concerns and the limited lifespan. Sponges are porous, right?
Uh-huh.
That leads to bacterial buildup if they're not cleaned really regularly, which means you have to replace them every few months. While silicone-based or antimicrobial infused alternatives exist, their adoption is still, well, pretty niche. People like their sponges.
Yeah, creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And then there's the rising environmental scrutiny. That's a big one now. Most blenders are made of non-biodegradable polyurethane, which contributes to the growing problem of beauty industry waste.
A huge issue across the board in beauty. Totally. This has fueled a strong trend toward eco-friendly and sustainable alternatives. Things like plant-based foam sponges, bamboo-derived materials, recyclable packaging. You see brands like Varpsies and Too Cool for School really aligning with environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, goals to appeal to ethically minded consumers.
It's becoming table stakes almost. The competitive landscape is quite diverse too. You have major global players: Beauty Blender, Real Techniques, L'Oreal, Wet n Wild, Skin Food, Makeup Forever, all vying for market share.
They're big names.
Right. You also have key manufacturing partners like Ideal Eponge and Hitachi Chemical working behind the scenes, plus strong regional brands like Etude House and Varpsies, and a growing segment of luxury and niche brands focusing on things like ethical sourcing and premium product storytelling. It's crowded. Wow, okay. So what does this all mean for you, the everyday beauty enthusiast listening? We've seen how the humble makeup blender has transformed from just a simple tool into this sophisticated product, influenced by everything from viral influencer trends and global e-commerce to advanced manufacturing and complex supply chains, all while grappling with that pressing demand for sustainability. It's quite a journey.
It really is. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's clear that even the smallest beauty tool is, well, a microcosm of these huge global economic and social forces, which raises an important question, I think. Beyond the pursuit of the perfect blend, how will consumer demand for both cutting-edge performance and planet friendliness reshape the future of even the most basic, everyday essentials in our lives? Something to think about.
That's a great point to end on. It's truly fascinating to consider how technology, our own habits, and environmental awareness are converging, even in these seemingly simple industries. And of course, if you're curious to explore more detailed market data on makeup blenders, maybe regional performance or specific consumer behavior insights, you could always refer to a resource like the Makeup Blender Market Report 2025 by Cognitive Market Research.